Some general information about the GLCA. We opened this building in August of 2019. I'm standing outside the main entrance of the Career Academy at this time. Our entrance is actually on the back side of the building. We're located at the corner of Teal Road and 18th Street, but to access our building at the current time, you'll need to come in off of the 18th Street entrance. So if you're going south on 18th Street, you would pass Teal Road and you'd hang your first left to enter the parking lot of the Career Academy. Transportation is always a question students have about the Career Academy. How are they going to get here? How are they going to get back to their schools? Or how are they going to get home after class? Well, all three of the school corporations that send students here to the Career Academy provide transportation. So if you want to catch a school bus here in the morning and back to your home school, or here in the afternoon and back to your home school and then home, transportation is provided. The area I'm standing in is kind of where our bus release area is. I'm going to have our cameraman kind of do a quick scan here of our parking lot. So if you do drive to the Career Academy, if you have your own car or you have somebody that wants to drop you off and pick you up, we have plenty of parking available out here right now. 250 plus parking spots available for our students. So if you drive here to class, you'll be able to park nearby and make it into this primary entrance that I'm standing in front of right now. We have an afternoon session and a morning session here at the Career Academy. If you come here in the mornings, your class is going to begin around 8 a.m. It's going to end about 10 a.m. And if you come here in the afternoon, you'll arrive here around noon, and your release time will be about 2:10 p.m. in the afternoon. We have some great resources for you guys to utilize if you want to find out more information about the Greater Lafayette Career Academy, and if you want to stay updated on events and important happenings that are going on. Just on the web, you can go to www.glcareeracademy.com. Have a lot of resources there for you, student handbooks, curriculum guides, information about certifications and dual credits that go along with our programs, as well as usually in the banner on that page as well, we'll have information about events that are going on. There was actually a link to this event up there, information about our Summer Bridge program. So turn into the website for all of the most recent happenings going on here at the Career Academy. We also have our own Twitter account now that's active. We've been posting some videos and some information about some of our recently graduated students. So go to that same as the website, the @GL Career Academy, and you'll find our current Twitter feed. Well, we're going to let you find out a little bit more about our culinary arts program. So we're going to start making our way to the culinary arts program. It's kind of a long walk. It's one of the farthest away from the main entrance, but we're going to kind of take you on a virtual tour through the Career Academy as we make our way down to the culinary arts program, where our instructor will then tell you a little bit more about the program. So I'm going to go off the air here for about the next 30 seconds, and we'll walk you into the building and start you down toward the culinary arts room. So this is the atrium area of the Career Academy. A lot of students like to hang out here when they come in and when they get released from class, either waiting for a ride or waiting for a bus to come and pick them up. A lot of areas for students to just kind of sit and relax, visit with each other, charge your phone or laptop. So that's a nice little area. This was all brand new when the building was built, so you'll enjoy being in this area if you come over to the Career Academy. So we're on the lower level of the Career Academy now, and like I said, the Culinary Arts Room, we got a little bit of a walk here, and as we walk along, would like to offer the following statement to you. The GLCA will comply with all decisions set forth by the school corporations in Tippecanoe County, along with the Tippecanoe County Health Department, in regards to COVID-19 safety procedures and regulations. This local guidance will help to create the safest possible environment for GLCA students and staff. As we make our way into the Culinary Arts Lab area, I'd also like to thank our technician for the building for helping put this together tonight, and also our administrative assistant for helping along the way. Couldn't have done it without them. We're entering the culinary lab now. You can see state-of-the-art equipment in here. As we make our way around, I see Chef Chad Young over on the other side. I'm going to go ahead and hand the microphone off to him, and we'll let Chef Chad take over and tell you about his program.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Davis. So welcome, everyone. This is the Culinary Lab for Culinary Arts 1 and 2. That is what we are currently offering here at the GLCA. I'm just going to share a little bit about what our program is and what we have to offer in terms of student learning and the job training and all of that good stuff. So if I could direct your attention, I don't know, Jeremy, if you can get that, probably not in there. I have a little guide for you to follow along with me. And basically, this just gives us a brief outline of what Culinary 1 and what Culinary 2 have to offer. So our students have the opportunity to, when they enter, to take safety and sanitation. And basically what that is exactly what it sounds like: learning how to prepare food safely, and proper sanitation is being applied as well. So we start out with what we call just, basically like the bottom of the line, basic learning of food safety and sanitation. And then we go into Serve Safe. Serve Safe is basically a food and beverage safety program that's accredited by the National, well, it's administered by the National Restaurant Association, but it's accredited as well. Accreditation is important because that means those students can earn a certificate, and the certificate is good for 5 years. And they take it, they could take it for free. Normally it would cost that student $40, but with what we do here, it's part of the curriculum. So they take it for free, and it's good for 5 years. They could take that certificate to their employer and basically maybe even get a raise, or a raise. What am I trying to think of? Promotion. There we go. Geez, lost my train of thought there. So a promotion within their food service establishment as well. And that basically means they can go to a shift leader, become a shift leader instead of a crew member, maybe even move into manager status. So it's very, very important for those students to have. And they're at that level now that they really need those credentials behind them. Anyway, I have an example of the certificates here. This is the food handler, and there's 2 different categories of Serve Safe accreditations that you can get, or certifications that you can get. One is the food handler, and then one is the manager certificate. So the food handler is the one I'm holding here, and this is a current student that achieved the certification even over COVID. She went online, and we studied together. She went online and studied together online. She went and took it and passed the test, and then she has a certificate that she could take to her employers. And she actually did get a raise. She communicated with me that she did get a raise, and so that's good. So the food safety, the handler, it cost money as well, but with COVID and with the circumstances, those students got to take it for free. So we took advantage of that, and we had a total of 8 students pass that exam out of the 11 that took it. So I was very proud of them. So that's a good thing. All right. So safety and sanitation is very important, and that's the very foundation, probably one of the most important things in the food service industry. So we really spend a lot of time on that. Then we jump into knife skills. Knife skills is basically learning how to properly hold the knife, learning to work with different knives, and knowing how those knives, what's going on? Knowing how those knives are, what the proper use of them are, because all knives are not the same. All knives are not created equal, and they do have specific purposes. So they learn how to use different knives for the different skills that we are applying to what we do in the curriculum. Soup, stocks, and sauces is next, and basically it's what it says, soup, stocks, and sauces. So we start with learning how to prepare a proper stock, and then we take that stock and then we make the mother sauces from it, which is the 5 grand sauces or mother sauces. And then from there, we take those stocks as well and some of the sauces too sometimes, and use those to make soups. And we do cream-based soups and broth-based as well. So they learn how to, apply different techniques to the different style of soups that they're making. Dry and moist heat cooking methods, obviously, that's very important. Dry heat cooking methods, grilling, roasting, sauteing, all of those things apply directly to what we do in the food service industry, and they learn those skills. We do basic things, though. We don't really try to reinvent the wheel or try to be creative yet. We want them to learn the technical skill first, and then we can apply that and be a little bit more creative after that. So that's very important, and I really stress to them that it's all about the technique and not so much focus on the creativity part of it. Yes, do we want it to taste good? Absolutely. But ultimately, it's about the technique of it. And if you achieve the technique, then it'll taste good. All right, moist heat cooking methods. So boiling, poaching, steaming, we learn how to do those things, and we use different types of foods. We use vegetables. We use meat products as well for the dry heat cooking methods too. So they learn those skills and those methods as well. And then we do what's called combination cooking, where we take 2 or 3 different one of those methods or each of those methods and combine them to do combination cooking. So an example would be if we're going to do Swiss steak, for example, then we would saute that steak, then add some aromatics and some, broth or something like that to it, and then put it in the oven to braise. And so that's 2 different cooking methods. And I really stress that a lot because that's really popular in the food service industry these days. Okay, cost control. We're getting into the math side of things. So cost control. A restaurant, and I stress this from day one, especially students who are diehard fans of culinary, if you cannot be successful in the restaurant if you don't know how to cost out your recipe, if you don't know what to charge that particular dish for or how much to charge it for. Oftentimes restaurants close within the first year because they don't hire an accountant, they don't properly cost out their food, they don't use food cost percentages and things like that, and then they lose money, can't pay the bills, and then they have to close the doors. So we spend a lot of time on that as well. It gets a little intense at times because, they have to cost out a recipe, determine how much each ingredient within that recipe costs, and then apply it to the menu, okay? Customer service. How many of you have been out there and been to a restaurant and said, you know what, the food was okay, but, I just didn't have a great experience. And basically, customer service is probably one of the most important things in the food service industry as well, because the food could taste good all day, but if you don't have a great experience, you don't want to return back to that restaurant. So I stress that to the students that, hospitality and, is a great experience. Okay. How do you feel when you leave that restaurant? Did you feel good about what you ate and what you paid for? So we really spend a lot of time on that. And not only basic customer service, but front of the house, back of the house, and how they work together to achieve a good customer service status. All right. So let's talk about certifications again. So I alluded to or talked about earlier, Serve Safe. Now I want to talk about ProStart. ProStart is actually the curriculum that we use at the Greater Lafayette Career Academy. And I have an example right here of the books. And we use this material as other supplemental materials, but this is the Culinary Foundations book, and it's the second edition. This is level 2, so this would be for Culinary 2, but I'm still talking about Culinary 1. They actually could take a test at the end of the school year and achieve Pro Start 1 or 2, depending on which one they're in, certification. So what that means is they actually get scholarship money to or for taking my class. And that's another thing I want to talk about too, is that scholarships are huge in culinary. I know a lot of people think that they can't achieve it, and a lot of people or students that are very academically inclined, their parents or a counselor may say, hey, you know what? I know you love culinary, but you're such a smart kid. And then they kind of, steer them into some other things. And I won't name any other careers, but culinary, there is a lot of scholarships and there are a lot of cool jobs within the industry. So, I just stress to them and show them how much money they could potentially earn in scholarships and certifications and things like that, and even some jobs that they can actually get too. So we'll talk about that pathway in just a second. Students who take Culinary 1 will also earn 5 Ivy Tech dual credits. And basically what that means is dual, meaning 2. I'm a certified dual credit teacher. So those students who take my class earn college credit while they're still in high school. So they're basically earning free college credits, and they can transfer those credits to their institution, in particular Ivy Tech, and then maybe test out some classes, advance further into the semester, whereas a student who didn't take dual credit has to start from the very beginning, and they may get 6 weeks, 9 weeks ahead of that student because they have dual credit abilities already. So that's very important as well, and that's what I stress to students too, is that, you really, really need to take advantage of this opportunity because you're paying less for college because you're taking my class and earning dual credit. So that's very, very important. So speaking of pathway, so say that student earns those 5 credits and the 6 credits that they can earn in Culinary 2, they can then go to Ivy Tech, major in culinary arts, get their associate's degree there, and then transfer all those credits collectively together to Purdue and get their bachelor's maybe in food science, dietetics, something along those lines, and advance their career even further. So it's a win-win situation. A lot of moving around, but it's well worth it in the end. And I've had students earn a lot of scholarships. I have students totaling probably close to $1 million in scholarships. And it's just because they went to summer programs, they earned their certifications and things like that. So I really, really stress that we do that. Okay, Culinary 2. Okay, so Culinary 2 is Introduction to Baking and Pastry, and it's also food service nutrition, or nutrition in food service. So let's talk about Culinary 2 in terms of Intro to Baking and Pastry first. What I did was I split those up in 2 semesters. Okay, so students who are in Culinary 2, obviously they would have had to take Culinary 1 first. It's a prereq. They can't just go straight into Culinary 2. So if they take Culinary 2, basically what that means is they will do Intro to Baking and Pastry 1 semester, and I'm not going to say first semester because I may switch it up. It doesn't matter what semester we use or which one we apply it to, as long as the content is being taught. So they'll take Baking and Pastry 1 semester. They will take nutrition the 2nd semester. Now, this nutrition is a little bit different from nutrition and wellness. So let's talk about the pathway of that before I get any further into Culinary 2. So nutrition and wellness is the very first thing that you will take, and mostly freshmen and sophomores take that. I will say, try to get into it as a freshman so that you can get that under your belt and have room as a senior to take Culinary 2, because there's no possible way a junior can take Culinary 2, because if they're a sophomore and take nutrition and wellness, then they're going to take Intro to Culinary their junior year, and then their senior year will be Culinary 1. Okay, so let's talk about the order. Nutrition and wellness, Intro to Culinary Arts 1, which I just talked about, and then Culinary Arts 2. All right, so Culinary Arts 2, we talk about yeast spreads, and we do a lot more labs in Culinary 2 as well, actually in Culinary 1 as well too. So Culinary 2, we start with yeast spreads. We talk about lean dough versus rich doughs. We go into cookies, cakes, and pies. We do donuts, fritters, cobblers, and then we get into breakfast cookery. So breakfast cookery is a lot of fun to me because I love cooking breakfast and brunch. So these students have the opportunity, we translate or actually transfer all of those things that we learned with yeast breads and with cakes and cookies and pies and things like that. And we produce breakfast items. And we also talk about egg cookery and how to properly cook an egg, because that's not as easy as you think it is. And I know a lot of home cooks think they're the best egg cookers, but there is a lot of technique to it. So, then also we piggyback again on cost control. That's how important that I think costing out your menu and costing out food is so much that I put it in the curriculum because it's not really originally part of Culinary 2, but I wanted to hit it again because we have a student-ran restaurant here and they need to know those things, okay? They got to apply what they learn in the classroom to the restaurant, all right? With this certification, with this class, you get a Pro Start 2 certification. So if those students take that ladder of culinary pathways, if you will, nutrition and wellness, intro, Culinary 1, and then Culinary 2, they could potentially have like 2 Pro Start certifications underneath their belt, as well as a Serve Safe certification, and possibly some other scholarships with their 6 credits from Ivy Tech, they're dual credits. So Culinary 2 will be dual credit. There'll be 6 dual credits, okay? So 5 for Culinary 1, 6 for Culinary 2. So if they leave here and have taken Culinary 1 and 2 with me, that's a total of 11 dual credits that they could transfer into their culinary career post-secondary and basically, test out of a lot of classes. 11 credits. 11 credit hours is a lot, okay? So those students can really test out probably about 2 or 3, maybe even 4 classes, and maybe even start a year ahead of the regular students. I would say, it could possibly be a year, but definitely a semester. So they're, whereas it takes 18 months to get an associate's for most cases in culinary, a student could potentially graduate after 12 months with their associate's degree, which is awesome. And I've actually had I've had 3 students do that, as well as get their bachelor's in 2.5 years. So they are awesome students. So that's a little bit about what we do here in terms of Culinary 1 and 2, in terms of the curriculum, in terms of labs and things like that. So if anyone's watching and has any questions, I have a little prompt sheet here that I can answer. And I've actually answered most of them with what I talked about in terms of our layout and with the certifications and things like that. I will take a look and see if I missed anything just in case. How will this course prepare me for pursuing a career in the culinary field after graduation? That's a great question. Well, not only does it prepare you, but it sets you up for success as well. So basically what you do when you leave here, or what you could do, is I know that there are a lot, especially in the greater Lafayette area, there are a lot of independent restaurants that are looking for students that have a culinary background, not just regular students that just come out of high school or, I don't mean this in the way that it sounds, but off the streets and just go in and say, hey, I want to work in a restaurant. If they know a student has a culinary background and has maybe even been to culinary school, they're going to get that job over someone who does not have the basic background knowledge that a culinary student would have had. I get phone calls, emails all the time. I would say at least weekly from independent restaurants asking if I have a student that is looking for a job because they need someone to come out and do this. So not only does it help you for that, but it also helps that student gain more confidence. They're going to be confident going into the restaurant and in the food service industry because they have taken 2 years of culinary or 4 years of culinary. They have a degree behind them. So so the confidence and, job hiring ability, employability is going to be huge when they leave here. How many certifications? I think we already talked about that. Training facilities. All right. So this is actually the culinary lab, and I think you've seen some of it. And do we want to walk to the restaurant? Okay. All right. So I'll just keep talking to you as we're walking. And I haven't walked backwards in a long time. So hopefully I don't trip and fall. So the students have their own lockers back there. And then we come out here. And to my left is the culinary room or culinary classroom. And basically what that is where we do our book work and where we really do a lot of serve safe training and all that good stuff. So we're going to come down to the restaurant. So we didn't get to open the restaurant this year because, as you all know, we had the fortunate circumstance of COVID taking over, and we just didn't have the time to do the restaurant, student-ran restaurant. But I'll turn on some lights. But this is the student-ran restaurant, and as you can see, the chairs are up because of cleaning stuff, and we're out of school. So this is the dining room, and when we designed it, we kept it pretty simple. Sleek, rustic, modern is the best terms to describe it. We went with neutral colors so that when and they're kind of, warm, so that when we decorate for the holidays or anything like that, we can go with any color palette that we want against these neutral tones. So this dining room could seat up to 150. And here's our private dining area. What we're trying to do, because we don't know exactly, well, I shouldn't say we don't know. We have a lot of ideas of when we're going to open and what style of dining we're going to do. But who are we catering to? Because it's during the school day. Some of the classes may not be at the ideal lunch hour. So we decided to do a private room so that we can cater to maybe local businesses that want to come in and hold a private meeting, a lunch meeting, something like that, and the students can cater it. All right. So that's what that would be for. And as we walk through here, this is where we enter into the back of the house. This is the server station. It isn't quite set up fully yet, but it will be by next year. And then we move into the actual where the magic happens. So this is our kitchen facility. This is our back of the house, as we call it in the restaurant industry. And this is basically where the students put all of the things that they learned in lab and in class into action. So this is our saute station. And as you can see, we have some convection ovens here. We have a steamer. This is the holding table with a heat lamp. We just switch the switch on and they can keep the food hot while the servers are maybe getting their drinks ready or, doing another task. And then if we walk around here, this is our grill station. So this is where we would do char grilling, steaks, burgers, fish, anything like that. And we also have a flat top grill as well. So anyway, that was a very quick overview of what we did. And if you have any questions, feel free to go to the website and email me or reach out via the website or any way else that you know. So thank you for your time, and I will talk to you later.